and I hope you have a copy of that the draft of the letter. And we think the law undermines fundamental civil rights and civil liberties and poses a special treatment to people of color who live and travel to Arizona, including Stockton residents who spend time in Arizona, or migrants like we who travel to visit Mexico every year and using that roads in Arizona. We are here to continue a week ago I came here and give you a draft to asking the city, the city council, to support us with a resolution condemning the law SB 1070.
Gerardo Ramirez, I'm an American citizen, and I'm here because I needed your support to boycott the SB 1070.
He told me, he asked me to go back to Mexico because all the people that come from Mexico, they just come here illegally.
Y vuelvo a repetir, yo soy un ciudadano americano.
I repeat myself, I'm a citizen.
Y yo estoy pidiendo, yo le contesté a esta persona
I answered to him.
En qué se basaba para decirme que yo era un mexicano y que yo era ilegal.
Why he was asking me why I was a Mexican and I was an illegal person.
Él me dijo que por mi color.
He answered because your color. Like, my daughter is full Mexican, but their father, he's all mixed.
Okay.
His mother is Japanese, his father is Mexican, his great-grandmother is Japanese, and their grandfather is German. So when they grow up and they start driving, and if a police stop them just because they see them brown, is that their fault? No, it's not. They're citizens, and I think for God, we're all the same. And I don't think that when we pass away, we are going to be in different places. We are going to go to the same place. So that's why I'm asking all of you to think about it. And remember, Mayor, when you come to us, I told you, I don't know if you remember, in the Jamaica, that I was making tortillas.
Yes.
And you came and asked for help, and we gave it to you. So I know that it's not only you that is going to make the decision, it's all of you. But I leave it in your hands. We are against Arizona law because I think it's an injustice, racist, and it's going to hurt a lot of people. And not only the ones that they don't have documents. I came here when I was 12 years old. The next day that I came here, I started picking cucumbers. When I got home, I couldn't sit down on the toilet because it was hurting really bad. From there, I started picking tomatoes, cherries, mention all, grapes. I put that food in your tables at the age of 12 years old.
Que en este país de libertad todos tenemos derecho de trabajar, de vivir y de vivir bien y para que todos vivamos en paz. Por lo tanto, yo me gustaría que esta ciudad de Stockton tome una posición, así como veo yo en las noticias, ya muchas ciudades están poniéndose en una posición para boicotear el estado de Arizona, porque el gobierno, ¿verdad? Esa ley, todos consideramos que es racista.
Because I've been watching on the TV and the news, a lot of cities and states are joined to boycott Arizona.
Teresa Rosales.
My name is Teresa Rosales.
Soy American citizen.
She's an American citizen.
No hablo suficiente inglés.
I do not speak sufficient English.
Pero en los campos y cuando uno anda recogiendo las frutas no necesitamos el inglés porque lo que necesitamos lo que necesitamos son las manos y los pies y es lo que
I came here in 1954. I watched the news when Luther King were marching for civil rights. So I plead with all of you, please, don't kill Martin Luther King's dream, because he fought for us, he fought for civil rights for all.
Miguel Rojas, and I represent the Labor Council for Latin American Advancement, AFL-CIO.
Okay.
And although I don't live in San Joaquin County or Stockton, we do have a lot of members of our union that work here in this county. Mm-hmm. I want to thank the council for allowing us to come before you, but I say that the council should take a strong step and move forward like other cities throughout the state of California and boycott, at least as a nonviolent way to send a message that there's other ways of dealing with this immigration problem. But this is not the way to deal with it by targeting people just because they look different and they're of a select minority group. Thank you very much.
In California, the new law has been condemned by a broad and diverse groups of faith, civil rights, labor, civic, and community leaders like us. We encourage this council to support, to condemn and support the boycott, and we're planning to come in every Tuesday to asking for your support. So thank you, and we're waiting for hear from you and asking if it's possible to this issue put in the agenda for one of the coming city council meetings.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough. Any comments? Councilmember Eggman?
Thank you, Mayor. So I don't know how the rest of the council feels about the presentation we had tonight concerning Arizona. It distresses me to see a state taking on a federal responsibility. And I know the mayor's asked, and I've asked our city manager if we, in fact, even do any business with Arizona, because I don't know. I'm not so much into making symbolic gestures just for the sake of making symbolic gesture. I think it politicizes something that's already very political. But I would be interested, and I wonder if the rest of the council would be interested in having staff explore if we can at least do some kind of letter to the federal government encouraging them to create a fair immigration policy that addresses this issue, so it's not left for these kinds of policies to kind of spring out of people's attempts to address the issue of immigration. So I don't know how the rest of the council feels if we can look into doing a letter to the federal government encouraging them to kind of do their job and take on immigration policy so states aren't left to do it. So
this is a federal issue, and
absolutely.
The
Are we
states
using
are
our buttons?
The states are being forced to address them. So a letter in support of the federal government doing their job, I would support.
Councilmember Holman.
I can support Councilmember Eggman's suggestion, and I think it has a little more teeth in it than be more effective to go right to the federal government to let them know rather than to boycott Arizona. Kind of paint yourself in a corner, so to speak. But I had other comments that I wanted to make also.
I wasn't done.
Oh, she wasn't done.
Oh, she wasn't done.
Well,
she wasn't done.
Let's let her finish.
Please go. Our apologies. We didn't know that you weren't finished. So
that's okay.
Go ahead.
And I was going to say, too, it's interesting to me that we are having trouble trying to balance our budget and not having enough police to go around, and Arizona thinks that they can take on, their police can also take on the process of enforcing immigration. Interesting to me. But I want to talk about something happy, I think. I'd like to announce that this year, for the first time ever, there will not be one penny of city funds used for the Victory Park Music in the Park. That in combination with the Musicians Union raising money, me raising some money, my friends and neighbors doing a concert in the park to raise money, and Waste Management donating the Portolays, we will have a full concert series this summer in Music in the Park at Victory Park without a penny of taxpayers' money being used, city money being used, and so I just think that's a huge show of support by the community to maintain something that really, I think, symbolizes all that is good about Stockton. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember.
So, and I want to start off, I understand there's some papers circulating around, and I tend to deal with conflict head-on. I think it's important to be able to speak what's real for you. And so I understand that there's been some discussion about Arizona. Some of you might think, Arizona? What's going on about Arizona? But some folks were concerned about my position last year when we talked about the very oppressive laws that were created in Arizona against Mexicans, against migrants, immigrants, people without documentation, So some folks came to the council and said, would you boycott Arizona? So, and there was a lot of people getting some momentum to do boycotts of Arizona. So my first question was, do we do any business with Arizona as the city? Because otherwise, planning a boycott is just symbolic of having a boycott if there's nothing that you're boycotting. And indeed, we didn't have any business with Arizona. I serve on a council, and I'll talk about this more, but my way of service is very much through engagement, very much through trying to build relationships and find ways that we can come together and move forward as a whole to be the most productive. So I said, well, and I knew there was no way that my very conservative council, some members, were going to support a boycott of Arizona. So I made a suggestion that rather than doing a boycott, why don't we do something that I think is the bigger issue, is write a letter to the federal government and to the president to say, we need to pass comprehensive immigration reform so that states don't take it upon themselves to create these very oppressive and discriminatory practices. So that's what we did. That was my position on it. I'll go on from there. Okay? So here we are. I'm going to talk about intersecting